All right, thank you so much for joining me. This is Tarot in White Oracle, where we get into the cloud. So we have a learning center today, which is all about the major arcana. If you want to dive deeper into the minor arcana, we do have 4 previous videos in our first playlist. Our second playlist and third playlist are going to be all about the major arcana. And our 4th playlist is all about the court cards. So we're going to dive deeper into the major arcana. I'm assuming you've already seen the first playlist about them. Please do that before you do this. This is a deeper dive. So this correlates all of the Hebrew letters to the major arcana. There's 22 major Hebrew letters and there's 22 arcana cards. Of course, there is a debate. Oh, when did they actually come together? Was it the 1800s? And was it just, kind of a coincidence? And oh, these kind of seem like they could match, so let's make a match. Or did it happen earlier in the 1400s and it was a deliberate conjunction? We will talk about that more in the history basics of the major arcana, which will be the last video of this playlist. But for now, we're going to assume that you already understand that the Hebrew letters correlate to the major arcana. Now they do go in order. The first letter of the Hebrew alphabet to the last letter, the first arcana card to the last arcana card. They go in order. There's no zigzagging, which is also very interesting. Now, by the way, for those of you that are interested more in linguistics, Aleph is the first Hebrew letter and Bet is the second, and that's where we get the name alphabet. Because as we will dive deeper into our understanding of arcana in our Egyptian video, we will talk about the evolution of language. So stay tuned to that for our 3rd playlist. So in this one though, we're going to just go briefly over the letters and the meaning. So the full correlates with Aleph, first Hebrew letter, first arcana card. The second Hebrew letter is Bet, and that correlates to our magician. Third is Gimel, and that correlates to the high priestess. Dalet is the empress. Hey is going to be the emperor. Vav is the Hierophant. Now, I know that my pictures aren't gorgeous. I did hand do them, but this will give you an idea of what goes with what and the concepts behind everything. Zayin is the 6th Hebrew letter. That goes with lovers. Our 7th is Chet, and that goes with the chariot. We have Tet, and that goes with strength. Yod for hermit. Kaf for the will. Lamed for justice. Mem is the next Hebrew letter on the Hebrew alphabet, and of course the next arcana is the hangman. Nun matches rebirth. Samak matches temperance. Ayin matches the devil, and Pei is for the tower. Zadi is the star card. Kof is our moon. Resh is for the sun. Shin is going to be for judgment, and Tav is for the will. So what do these mean and why do they correlate? We will dive deeper into the basic history in our last video, but for now, I'm just going to go over briefly. So Aleph for the Hebrew, there's a basic Hebrew understanding and there's a Kabbalistic Hebrew understanding. But the letter Aleph has an understanding of the beginning. It's by itself. It has a credible dominion over things, power over things. It's mankind as a whole, the universal mankind, the central point. Unity, wholeness, oneness. It's the first letter for God. It's the first letter for man. So this is how it relates to our full card, of course, because this is our central character. It stands for mankind, the universal oneness of us all. And it is, of course, leaping into its new adventure, a leap of faith. And interestingly, Aleph has no sound, and the full card is a 0 power. So that's how they relate to each other. And Bet is the Hebrew letter that is correlated with magician. And of course, we do have a sense of literally being a house, and or in the olden days it would be a cave. It's an inward dwelling. It's a place to put all of your material manifested things. It can also be divine speech. It has a sense of duality, but it can also be used to hide things and conceal things. So we also get that sense of the magician, of course. When he's the trickster, he conceals things and hides things. But when he's the magician, he reveals things and he makes things manifested. So he manifests things into the earth. The earth you can look at as your house. He's making things in the invisible world into the visible, which is our earth, our house. And he also has a sense of duality. And you also understand from the previous videos, he is a Gemini. He uses his breath to speak things into existence because he is an air sign. It's all about the communication in the air. And he's also a dualistic because he's Gemini. That's also the sense that we get in our Hebrew. And so that's how those correlate. And so we're going to go ahead and go to our next one. So we have the High Priestess. And our High Priestess is, of course, the Gimel letter. And this has a very interesting sense. It's a camel throat, which is how water goes from one place to another. It's a conduit, a pipe, literally. It's a channel, literally, for water. A bridge between elements. It allows the flow through to move to help others through the consequences of their choices. You can compare heaven to earth, rich to poor. So, of course, in the High Priestess, she is also a conduit and a channel, not of water, but of the energy of water, of the spirit, the soul, the emotion, the spiritual guidance. So this is how she is connected to our third letter. Of course, our fourth letter is Dalet, and this is our card, the Empress. We're going to get into this side with the Egyptian hieroglyphs because they also relate, which is very interesting. So the Hebrew source means more of something that is of physical existence. It's from where life emerges on the doors of the human body. So of course the doors of the human body would be the woman and her vagina, and that would be the source of from where life emerges. Life flows. It's a sense of nurturing, abundance, nourishment, sustainability, out of multiplication or division, in sustaining children, a connection, a pathway through. So that's the Dalet understanding and its connection to, of course, our Empress Arcana card. And if we want to look at Hey, this is our Hebrew, and it matches with, of course, our Emperor. And this has a sense of a window for light, for breath, for, air. It also has a sense of saying, I am, breathing in. It has boundaries to make things clear. And without Hey, there is no universe. It's the rules, or you can say, therefore, the logic and reason. It keeps things alive, to live, to light. So these are some of the Hebrew understandings of the letter. And of course, that's how it relates to our Emperor, which is what he represents. So when we look here, we have Vav, and we have the Hierophant, and Vav is a nail, a hook, a pin, a peg. It holds it in place. And of course, our Hierophant does that. It holds all of our structures in place, our spiritual and our love structures, because it's the commitment. You can say it pins it together, it nails it together, it holds it in place. It modifies the meaning, it indicates change, it tells if something continues or ends. And it indicates something goes from one nature to another, and it connects heaven and earth. So these are the understandings that you can associate with, of course, the Hierophant card. It basically, the Hierophant is your spiritual guide, and he is telling you when something continues, when it ends, when you're married, when you're divorced, what is good, what is bad, when something goes from one nature to the next, because it is, the Hierophant is your spiritual guide, your spiritual priests, rabbis, churches, temples, synagogues. Okay, so Zion. Zion has to do with, of course, our levers. And this has the sound of lightning, zzz, and bang. And so there's a sense of the lightning crashing. But there's also a source of living seeds, seed producing power, an arrow whooshing by. So you might think of Cupid in that sense, a fluid that produces life. Of course, I think of semen, a helper, an illuminating ray. So of course, lovers is all about that living seed producing power, fluid producing life. So you can see how those relate. And of course we have Chet, however you want to say it. Different people say it differently. We have our Chariot. And so Hay at one time was also this letter, but this letter came out of Hay and became its own letter. So it represents physical labor. It requires activity. It expels the air. So where Hay is breathing in, the Shet is breathing out. And of course, it produces effort, warm heat. There's a sense that it results with action, and there's passion involved. It can also be violent and disordered movement. It can cut and break and strike. So of course we get all that sense with our Chariot. And we're going to go over one more and then take a intermission break. So this is our Strength. So this is Tet, and this is our Hebrew letter Tet, and it comes from settlement. It encloses, it covers, it protects an area. It's a group of people. It's a fortitude. So it really just represented a settled city. And that's why there's a sheep. Well, we'll get into the artist details a little bit later, but often on the symbol, the very, very ancient symbol before Hebrew, it was the symbol of a sheep, because whenever you had an enclosed settlement, it meant you had sheep there. And so that was a 5,000 plus year old symbol for a settlement, an enclosed, covered, protected area, a group of people, which is your strength. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a short intermission. I'm going to get a glass of tea and I'll be right back. All right, we're back. I hope you're still with us. Okay, so our next one is Yod, and this is our Hermit. And basically that means a hand, a finger, it's pointing something out, to pay attention to this. It's the light. It's a durable force. It's also to offer and to receive. And so, of course, you can relate that to our character, because the Hermit is all about that reception of light while he's alone, and bringing, that wisdom, that understanding, that balance back to himself, receiving that spiritual guidance. But the Hermit can also offer too. The Hermit can offer guidance as well. And of course, the hand finger pointing something out, it's the source, God's finger per se, saying, go inward, pay attention to these problems here. So you need to kind of take a time out. And when we look at our next Hebrew letter, we get Kaf. And it's related to the wheel, or the wheel of fortune. And so we do have an understanding of Kaf being the palm. So it's a palm half closed like this, to grasp, to mold, to compact tightly, one shaped into the likeness of God, receiving, holding. So, of course, the understanding with the Wheel of Fortune is through your karmic cycles, you're being shaped and molded as your spirit is growing, evolving, and becoming closer to God. Some might say closer to Christ consciousness, or closer to the way that Buddha was teaching, or you can understand it in various forms. But it has the similar impact. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our Lamed. And for our Arcana, of course, it's the Justice card. And this is all about mediator, balancing, resolving conflicts. A lot of times it has to do with legation, laws, labor. It's the shepherd's crook, because the shepherd is guiding his flock and managing it and making sure it's equal amounts over the pasture, so the land doesn't get destroyed on one side and not the other. So it's about controlling and evenness as well. And so we get that sense here. And then, of course, we move on to our next, and we have Mem. And we do have the Hangman. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys about the Egyptian. I can't wait to get to that. All right, so with this, we have water and a womb, nursing sounds of an infant to the breast, origins. And so the Hangman is very much about returning to your origins, to that mother's breast, to suckling, to the womb, to just letting go and accepting all that life, the universe, God and source has for you, and to stop resisting. And so that is that sense. And then we also have Noon, and that is related to, of course, our death and rebirth. And Noon is the hidden depths. It's not seen, it's divinely inspired, but it's ocean chaos from which your soul was formed. To die, to descend, to be lost, to reduce. And of course, there's the Scorpio, the water sense with this. And there's a strong water tie to it in Hebrew, also in the Egyptian, which we will talk about later. And then we get to move to Shamak. Okay, so then we've got Temperance. And to uphold, to sustain, supporter, sustainable support. A circle, a ring, a circuit, consuming fire, but you're not burned. It is circumferencing around you, it envelopes around you. So it's a supporting, sustaining support of fire in a way. And this, of course, has Sag energy. So next, of course, we have our devil energies, and we've got Ayan. And so, whoopsie, our devil decided to run away. Okay, so then we've got Ayan, and it's an eye, it's perception, it's seeing the physical, it's appearing, it's to look, to consider physical things, it's manifested, it's material things, it's Eden and sin. So this is our devil energy. And when we go to Pei, the next Hebrew letter, we get our tower. And there's a sense of breathing out of your mouth. It's moving life or causing life as the spirit moves. And something moves out and it's manifested. It's God's plan. It's through the door where the seeds bring forth fruit, and fruit emerges. You'll understand that a little bit more when we dive into the Egyptian. The Egyptian also has a false door symbol. So basically, this is our connection here. And all of our Hebrew letters are connected to Egyptian glyphs from 5,000 years ago. So each of the Egyptian glyphs also resemble our Arcana, which is fascinating, because when you're looking at the picture, you're really looking at a picture that resembles, symbolizes, metaphorizes, yes, I made that up, the Egyptian. And the Egyptian, of course, is 5,000 years ago, so it's pretty cool. Metaphorizes is a word. It's not a word. I'm pretty sure that's not a word. I made that word up. Okay. So then we have Zadi. Zadi is our star, and the Hebrew meaning of the letter, of course, the metaphorical understanding and the Kabbalistic understanding all incorporate moving, going toward a specific end, a purpose. It's a form, a powerful force, a powerful universal force pushing elements together. It's a refuge, and it is a moving spirit, a moved spirit. So, of course, we get all that with the star because it's fate, it's destiny. So then we want to go ahead and look at our Kof, and that is related, of course, to our moon card. And this is a nocturnal defilement, the mind's power of the brain, the subconscious, God's mind linked to man's from one nature to another. So this has more of a sense of the nocturnal, the defilement, and the subconscious mind, of course, the things that we don't see, which is why it is linked to the night, because you don't see it, it's hidden, it's in the dark. Resh is our sun card. It is the source of light, the heat, seen, making things happen. A ray, fiery, moving light, the primary one. So that's what we get for our sun. And if we want to move into Sheen, we have judgment. And has to do with sin and repenting, a completion with peace. You're burned and scorched, which is fire, and then you're rinsed, which is water, to lie down and then rise. Water transforms to the fire. It's a transformation, a resurrection after death. And we can get into the old Egyptian and cuneiform symbols too, which are really fascinating and also have a similar sense of fire and water. Okay, so lastly, we do have Tav and the World card. So this is man's mark. It's a mark. It's a sign. It's a miracle. It's ownership, perfection. It authenticates, it's world perfection, heavenly order. It fulfills its purpose. It's a sense of one's place. It's fulfilling the duty. So, of course, that's our world card, our sense of completion. But there's also a sense of you are now marked with that level of completion, right? Like you're no longer a teenager. You're an adult. You are no longer in high school. You are in college. You've been given a mark of approval or so forth. So there's a certain amount of ownership in the levels of spiritual, financial, emotional, mental, physical, graduational steps that we go through in life, and it marks it. It's the sign to show it. And it's also perfection and heavenly order, and it's fulfilling its purpose. That's the meanings of Tav. So this is how the Hebrew alphabet relates to our Arcana. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper and go into the reasons why it's connected, why there might be a debate, and also what I find the most interesting and fascinating and eagerly wanting to share, which is its connection to the 5,000 plus year old Hebrew glyphs. Literally, we are looking at the pictograms of the Egyptian alphabet. Okay, I will see you later. Bye-bye.